When a stray cat unexpectedly followed Elon Musk home, the tech billionaire had no idea how this small encounter would change his life forever. What happened next will truly melt your heart. It was a quiet morning for Elon Musk. He had just stepped out of his car, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. The ongoing challenges with his multiple companies, SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, everything was pulling him in different directions. He was used to this, but today felt different, more tiring than usual. Little did he know, this day was about to take a turn that even someone with his visionary mindset couldn't have predicted. As Elon walked toward the entrance of his SpaceX headquarters, he noticed something strange out of the corner of his eye. A small, scruffy cat was lurking by the sidewalk, its thin body barely noticeable amidst the hustle and bustle of the city. The cat, obviously a stray, had dirty fur matted from days, if not weeks, on the streets, and eyes that told a story of struggle. What surprised Elon was not just the cat's appearance, but the fact that it seemed to be staring straight at him, as if trying to communicate something. He chuckled quietly to himself and shook his head. Another cat, he thought, assuming the animal would quickly lose interest. But as he walked further toward the building, the cat began to follow him, keeping its distance, but never letting him out of its sight. Elon paused for a moment, turning to look at the cat. It stopped too, sitting on its hind legs, staring up at him with those piercing eyes. "Not today, little guy," Elon muttered under his breath, feeling the tension of the day building. He was already running late for an important meeting, and feeding a stray cat wasn't exactly on his agenda. But as he resumed walking, the cat stayed with him, almost like it had chosen him, like it had decided that Elon Musk was its person now. Curiosity got the best of him. Elon bent down, his hand outstretched to see if the cat would come closer. To his surprise, the cat cautiously approached, rubbing its head gently against his hand. For a brief moment, the weight of his responsibilities seemed to lift as he focused on this small, fragile creature that had somehow found its way into his life. Still, time was ticking, and Elon had to get back to his responsibilities. After a few minutes, he stood up and walked into the building, leaving the cat behind. Or so he thought. Hours passed, meetings came and went, and when Elon finally emerged from the building later that evening, there it was, the same scruffy cat, sitting patiently by the door as if waiting for him to return. Elon couldn't believe it. Why had the cat stayed? It could have wandered off anywhere, yet here it was, loyal and patient, as though it had nowhere else to be. The sight tugged at something deep within him. Elon, a man who built rockets and electric cars, suddenly felt an immense sense of responsibility toward this helpless animal. He knelt down again, and the cat immediately walked over, pressing its head against his leg as if to say, "I've been waiting for you." Without really thinking about it, Elon scooped the cat up in his arms. He wasn't the kind of person to make impulsive decisions, but something about this cat made him act on pure instinct. He looked into its eyes and saw something there that he hadn't seen in a long time, a pure, unwavering trust. "I guess you're coming with me," Elon whispered, carrying the cat to his car. As he drove home, the cat curled up on the passenger seat, purring softly. For the first time in what felt like ages, Elon smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. It was as if this small creature had given him a moment of peace in an otherwise chaotic life. But the story didn't end there. Over the next few days, the cat became a permanent fixture in Elon's life. Every morning, it would sit by the door, waiting for him to leave for work. And every evening, it would greet him with the same patience and warmth as the first day. Elon found himself looking forward to these moments, small as they were, in a life otherwise filled with stress and high-stakes decisions. However, one particular night, things took a turn. Elon came home later than usual, exhausted from back-to-back meetings and unexpected setbacks. As he entered his house, he realized that the cat wasn't waiting for him at the door like it usually did. Concerned, He searched around the house, calling out for the cat. Minutes passed, and there was no sign of it. Panic began to set in. How could it have gotten out? He searched every corner of the house, but the cat was nowhere to be found. Determined, Elon rushed outside, scanning the neighborhood streets. The night was dark, and the quiet felt unsettling. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a faint meowing coming from a nearby alleyway. Heart racing, he followed the sound and found the cat lying near a pile of trash, injured and barely able to move. Without a second thought, Elon scooped up the cat, rushing it to the nearest vet. The hours that followed were agonizing. Elon, who had always kept his composure in the most stressful situations, found himself anxious, pacing back and forth as the vet examined the cat. The diagnosis was grim. The cat had been hit by a car and had multiple fractures. Surgery was required, and even then, there was no guarantee it would survive. For the first time in years, Elon felt helpless. This cat, this tiny creature that had followed him so faithfully, was now fighting for its life. All he could do was wait. The surgery took hours, and every minute felt like an eternity. Finally, the vet emerged, his face tired but relieved. "The surgery went well. It's a tough little guy," the vet said, offering Elon a small smile. Elon felt a wave of relief wash over him. The cat would survive. Over the next few weeks, Elon personally took care of the cat, ensuring it had everything it needed to recover. It was a slow process, but eventually the cat regained its strength, and before long, it was back to its usual routine of waiting for Elon by the door each day. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Elon realized that this stray cat had become more than just a pet. It had become a symbol, a reminder that even in the busiest, most overwhelming moments of life, there is always room for kindness, for compassion, and for unexpected connections. In the end, the stray cat that had followed Elon Musk became a permanent part of his life. And while the world saw Elon as the man who was changing the future of technology, to this one small cat, he was simply the person who had shown it love and care when it needed it the most. And for Elon, that was a kind of success that no amount of money or innovation could ever replicate. For Elon, that simple act of kindness, rescuing a stray cat, had turned into something much deeper, something that even he couldn't have predicted. It wasn't just about giving the cat a home. It was about the quiet lessons the cat had taught him along the way. Life, in all its complexity, could be boiled down to simple moments of connection and care. While Elon was used to thinking in terms of grand visions, colonizing Mars, transforming global transportation, developing cutting-edge artificial intelligence, this small, seemingly insignificant creature had reminded him of the power of the present, of small acts of kindness that could change everything. Elon often found himself reflecting on the cat's unwavering trust in him. It was humbling. This tiny, vulnerable animal had placed its life in his hands without hesitation. And as the months passed, he found that the bond between them had become something he looked forward to every day. No matter how tough a day was, or how complex the problems he faced in business, the simple joy of returning home to find the cat waiting for him was enough to ground him, to remind him of the value of life's quieter moments. What Elon didn't realize at first was just how much the cat had come to depend on him, not just for survival, but for companionship. Every evening when he came home, the cat would follow him around the house, rubbing against his legs, purring softly, and curling up next to him as he worked late into the night. Elon began to notice that he too had grown dependent on the cat's presence. It was comforting in a way that all the success in the world couldn't replicate. He began to share the story with his close friends and family, although he laughed it off at first, calling it the billionaire and his stray. But deep down, Elon knew it was more than that. The cat had touched a part of his heart that had been long buried beneath layers of ambition, stress, and the relentless pursuit of success. In a way, this small, unassuming creature had given him something money could never buy: perspective. As weeks turned into months, the stray became a fixture in Elon's life. His children adored the cat, and even his friends would comment on how much calmer and more centered he seemed. The cat had unknowingly become a symbol in his life, a reminder that no matter how big your dreams are, no matter how far you reach, there is always value in the smallest, most unexpected moments. But life, as unpredictable as it is, was not done with its surprises. One day, as Elon was preparing for yet another meeting, the cat didn't come to greet him at the door. At first he brushed it off, thinking it was just wandering around the house, maybe napping somewhere. But after a few minutes, when the cat still hadn't appeared, he began to grow concerned. He searched every room, calling out softly, but there was no sign of the cat. Panic began to set in. The last time the cat had disappeared, it had been hit by a car. Could something similar have happened again? Elon's heart raced as he stepped outside, scanning the neighborhood for any sign of the little feline. He asked his security team to help search, but after hours of looking, the cat was nowhere to be found. Elon felt a pang of guilt. Had he taken the cat's loyalty for granted? Had he been so busy with his work that he'd overlooked the signs that something was wrong? The cat had become such an integral part of his life, yet now it was gone, leaving behind a void that Elon hadn't expected to feel so deeply. Days passed, and Elon tried to go about his routine, but the absence of the cat weighed heavily on him. He realized that despite everything he had achieved in his career, the loss of this small animal had hit him harder than any professional setback ever could. The house felt emptier, his life quieter. He missed the way the cat would curl up beside him as he worked, the soft purring that had become a comforting background noise in his hectic world. Just when Elon had begun to lose hope, something miraculous happened. One evening, as he was sitting on his porch, thinking about the cat and the strange turn of events, he heard a faint meow. His heart leapt. He stood up and listened closely, and there it was again, faint but unmistakable. Elon rushed to the edge of his property, calling out softly. And then, out of the shadows, the familiar figure of the stray cat emerged, limping slightly, but alive. Elon knelt down, scooping the cat into his arms with a mixture of relief and overwhelming joy. The cat purred softly, nuzzling against him as if to say, "I'm home." In that moment, Elon realized that the cat had been through its own struggles, its own battles for survival, but it had found its way back to him. It was a testament to the resilience of life and to the bonds that can form in the most unlikely of places. The cat had become more than just a pet. It was a symbol of endurance, of loyalty, and of the deep, unspoken connections that can form between living beings. From that day forward, Elon made sure to carve out time in his hectic schedule for the cat. It wasn't just about feeding it or caring for it. It was about acknowledging the importance of those small, quiet moments of connection that can often be overlooked in the pursuit of success. The cat had given him a gift far more valuable than any business deal or innovation, a reminder of the simple joys of life. As time passed, Elon's relationship with the cat became an enduring part of his daily routine. It reminded him to pause, to breathe, and to appreciate the world around him, not just as a businessman or an inventor, but as a human being. The cat, once a stray that had followed him on a whim, had found a permanent place in his heart and his home. In the end, it wasn't the billions of dollars or the revolutionary inventions that left the greatest impact on Elon's life. It was a stray cat, a simple creature that had walked into his life when he least expected it and stayed, teaching him lessons about love, loyalty, and the power of unexpected connections. And for Elon, that was the most heartwarming, life-changing experience of all. It wasn't just a fleeting memory, but a profound shift in his perspective. Every time he looked at the cat, now comfortably curled up in its favorite spot at his home, he was reminded that the most valuable lessons in life often come from the most unexpected places. The stray had taught him patience, empathy, and the importance of being present, qualities that no amount of wealth or success could substitute. Elon began to apply these lessons not just at home, but in his work. leading his teams with a newfound sense of compassion and mindfulness. Over time, Elon's public persona also seemed to soften. He wasn't just the relentless visionary driving humanity towards Mars. He was a man who had learned the value of simplicity, of cherishing the bonds we share with other living beings. The media, always eager for stories, picked up on this subtle transformation. The stray that changed Elon Musk, some headlines read, capturing how one small cat had touched the life of one of the most powerful men in the world. But for Elon, it wasn't about the headlines or the attention. It was about the quiet, personal shift in how he approached his day-to-day life, realizing that greatness wasn't only about conquering space, but also about nurturing the small moments on Earth. The bond between Elon and the cat remained strong, a constant reminder of the fragile yet profound connections that shape our lives. As years passed, the cat grew older, and so did Elon. But their relationship never wavered. In the end, Elon knew that the cat had given him more than he could ever repay. It had offered him a glimpse into the softer side of life, one that grounded him, balanced him, and ultimately made him a better person, not just a billionaire, but a human being capable of deep care and connection. And for that, Elon was forever grateful.